What is wrong or right about premarital sex? Should it or should it not be encouraged? This and many more questions are begging for answers. And on tonight's edition of Moans and Cuddles, we hope to bring you the answers that you seek. I am your host, Elsie Lamar, and I'll be sitting in for your regular host, Paulina Deda Opoku. We hope to bring you so much more. But before then, let's take a quick breather. We will be right back. Welcome back from that quick breather. You are watching Moans and Cuddles on Ghana Web TV, and this program is proudly sponsored by Cheesy Pizza. Cheesy Pizza has all you want from juices, smoothies, jollof rice, spag, and meatballs. We have great deals for you all week. Cheesy Pizza gives you the McCheesy combo every Monday and Thursday. With only 49 cedis, you get one small size of pizza, chicken, and one Coca-Cola at all branches. Tuesdays are Super Tuesdays at all Cheesy Pizza branches. Buy your Super Family Pizza at half a price every Tuesday for 40 cedis at all Cheesy Pizza branches. Be part of the midweek bonanza every Wednesday. Buy and get one free at all Cheesy Pizza branches. Also, remember to start your weekend with our special jollof, fried rice from all branches every Friday. Call 0264 133 397 0264 133 397 to place your order. Cheesy Pizza, your way. To help me juggle tonight's discussion, I have here with me one beautiful lady and a gentleman. To my immediate left is Elombini. Elombini is a PR consultant and a publicist. And to my extreme left is the beautiful Cecilia. Cecilia is an actress and an entrepreneur. You're welcome, lady and gentlemen.
Thank you.
I hope you're all doing well.
I'm fine.
You seem calm. Elom, you are relaxed.
Sometimes I'm that way till the heat comes in.
Hey, because the Elom I know, no. Hey, Charlie.
Yes.
Let's start from you, Cecilia.
Hey. As they say, ladies first, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. You used to believe in sex before marriage until your mind somewhat along the line changed. What happened?
I'm not an in-betweener, should I say. Obviously, okay, so sex before marriage in terms of, you know, as we were discussing before with Elam, you have to try it out to see what's happening. You know, you have to see, and I mean, to see if you're compatible, you're emotionally connected, because I think the emotional connection comes with that extra mile. So if you've decided now that, yeah, this is the person I'm going to be with, the before is then having the intercourse brings that emotional connection closer. So now you can be more emotionally connected. But what I've witnessed, and that's why I'm saying I'm in the middle now, what I've witnessed over the time is I feel like maybe it's our African brothers. Yes.
What about them? Tell me.
I feel our African brothers are, you know, because that's how they're raised. They're raised that, you know, don't have sex before marriage, blah, 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 blah. So if they are now doing it, their mindset, though they are like, no, I want to try it out. I want to, you know, I want to do it. It's very much set to how they were raised. So I feel like a little bit of the respect for the woman goes down and they don't treasure it as much as they should. So that's where I'm saying that now I'm in between on, I think every case would be, you know, different. So you have to pretty much see what case it applies to. But now I'm more inclined to be pushing to the side of, I think, ladies, we should wait before we give them the cookie because they're not ready.
So as it stands?
As it stands, I'm still in between, but I feel like, and it's, you have to judge it case by case.
But is that all your reason? The African man, the mindset, is that all?
The mindset is very, and you see, once you lose that respect, it's very hard for the man or whatever to now respect you again. Because I feel like in their head, they're like, I've had it, Charlie, I chop 'em. You know, that's, yes, I see finished. And the they're not more, I don't know, I think the commitment also kind of lets, because now they are like, okay, well, I chop arm, she no be good, like, Charlie, my last girlfriend crown be better than the, so now the comparison starts coming in, and if you're not that great, or if you're now also, maybe a virgin or something, they don't appreciate that, and it's all about how good you are. And if you are not as good as the ex, now it makes his head wander, and now he wants to go somewhere else. Not that when he gets married, he won't do it anyway. Because that one too, our African men are very, very... I'm saying our African men.
African men,
yes.
C finish, eye clear. Hello.
So,
Is it the same for you?
So, my question, or I would put it out: why do women always feel like it's only the men who crave for the sex, or that is the only thing men want? There are
Question
women
for
out
the
there. There are
gods.
there are a lot of women out there who also want to just have you.
Yeah.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Especially in recent times, they just want to have you for whatever motive that there is. Isn't it better for me to know than not to know and find out later? And whatever you think that I'll feel when I get married to you and we get intimate or we have sex and I feel a certain way, isn't it better for us to know before we get to that process? Do we have to move beyond that process and later now find out that, okay, our sex life is bad, and start having different perceptions about each other and doing things whilst we are married? Which would you go for? So on my stand, I would rather want to know the person 360 before I get married than I want to get the cookie before I get married. I won't shy about it.
He made a point that as much as men would also want to explore women,
Yes.
there are also women who would want to
Even want more.
get the man, like, I
Yeah.
want to get him by all means, and I think that's it's something that is also there. But you would want to explore your woman before marriage. Aside that part, aside you exploring her, what other thing would you want to look out for?
You see, it's not only about the sex part, but sex sometimes build a lot more connection, just like Cecilia said in the beginning. Psychologically, physically, emotionally, it builds a lot of bonding between the two of you. You get my point? And it might even reveal certain things to you before you get into the marriage stage or married life. So for me, I think it's very, very important for me to know. There are men who are married to nymphos. Sorry. They are married to women who love a lot of sex.
Who cannot be satisfied.
Yes.
After the sex, they go and hide
Yes.
and use the dildos and the vibrators.
Yes. And they have their besties that they do whatever
Oh,
things
yeah.
they do with.
Backups.
You get my point? So won't it be better for the man to know these things and know what he is going in for? Won't it be better for the woman to know the kind of man she's going to get married to?
Right.
Especially in these times that you say, oh, he's a 1 minute man, he's a 2 minutes man.
Right.
He's impotent.
Is it better for you to know? Would you rather get married to a gentleman and later find out that he's impotent or he can't satisfy you sexually, even though genital penetration is not the only way for sex, but it forms an integral part of the whole sex life?
All right.
So for me,
not to cut you,
yeah.
Cecilia made a point that because after sex, men seem not to appreciate the ladies like they do before, prior to having sex. And I had an interview with Tulenke some time back. He made mention about the fact that he said, if you want to see whether you love a woman or not, you for nakam. If that happens several times and the love is still the same, it means that, yeah, that's the woman you love. Is that the case? Let's be honest and sincere, Elom. Is it the case that men after sex with a woman, somehow the love they have for them, does it depreciate? And is what Tulink is saying, is it right?
Okay, on that I think let me just give that to Lenke. That is how he feels. That is not what every man feels. There are different people and how they feel is different from, it varies from one person to another. Sometimes you make out with a woman and you feel like, wow, I think I need to respect her even a lot more. So it's not always about the banging or the sex. You can be a satyromaniac, a guy who loves a lot of sex, but
Wow, I'm
you are-
learning the terms. A what?
satyromaniac,
Oh, okay. That's
Yes.
a man who loves sex.
a lot of sex.
Oh, okay.
Yes, his sexual desires are just off the roof. But on the other end, it's not just penetration that, gets your woman more involved with you.
Yeah.
Sometimes when I am with a lady I'm dating, I don't always have to penetrate her. Sometimes I just need to give her a good massage from head to toe. And she's good for the night. It's not always about pine. You could be doing that. You can have all the strength in the world. You can have
it
the
doesn't do
biggest
anything for the
mahogany
woman.
and do whatever,
Uh-huh.
but that is not it. That is why in recent times you find ladies finding other options because they feel you are not satisfying them 360. It's just one aspect of it.
But I'll come in and say, men are predators. You're natural predators. You love the chase.
That's how
And
we
this
created
this
to
is
be.
where it comes in, and this
Yeah.
is where it doesn't work for us, because the chase. If you notice, the way a guy treats you before he has sex with you, and after he has sex with you is two different things. Have you
Cecilia,
noticed?
you said that. Yeah, I
It's-
think you
it's-
keep
it's-
saying
it's
that.
not true.
Okay, but let me
Always.
ask
It's
you
not
this
always
question.
true.
Let me
Yeah.
ask you this question. What, as ladies,
Yeah.
what's there to lose? After the sex, what's there to lose? What does it take
With women,
from us?
you see, with women, when you're coming into us, do you understand? It's an in. You're coming into my soul. What they say when you are having sex or making love to somebody, you are in a
Bonding.
sense bonding, and you are entering my
Spiritual
soul, and you're
connection.
leaving a piece of you in me, and that is what that's what we have to lose, because you are coming in me, you are in me. So in a sense, if you're not, and with them it's totally different. They are it's outside here. They can go anywhere. We are the centerpiece, should I say, the centerpiece.
You
If I'm
know,
making sense, I don't know if I'm making sense.
Yeah, I guess so.
With the guys too. Sometimes you see we make out with ladies and we regret.
Wow, tell
Yes.
me more.
Regrets. Go
Yes.
on, tell
In what
me. Tell
sense?
me. In what
Yes.
sense?
In so many ways, you feel like, no, Charlie, this one they be wrong me too.
How?
That's what I'm. The same way you women feel like, oh, you've lost something. Sometimes some guys
We've
also
lost
feel
because
the same
you see,
thing.
No,
with women-
like
with
I'm
women
coming
it's-
to Celia. Has it got to do with the physical
Yeah.
It does with the emotional and the psychological
and
as
the
well.
connection?
Yes.
Can you give me an example? Because I'm lost.
Okay. You want me to spill too much information?
Oh, yes,
Personal
you need
information?
to.
Yes.
Give us.
To make our audience,
Yes.
clear on this.
Okay. So, for example, you're making out with a lady and you found out that hygienically she's not good. You've helped her severally, but that's just how it is. Sometimes some of these things demoralizes you, or there's a certain way that she wants a type of sex which you are not comfortable with, and that's what she's accustomed to.
I think that's where communication comes to play.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
It comes to play. That's what I'm saying. Would you want to have these things after marriage or before marriage?
But in a sense, during a marriage is when all of this, yes, it's good to have the conversation before you even get there. But whilst you're in there or you're in the marriage, this is when you have the patience to now listen to your partner and sort through all of those things. Because now this is life. I think people seem to forget that marriage is forever. Till death do you part. So now, if you don't like something, you said something before when we were talking, what do? You now are, you made a comment that you are a man that solves a problem if you're not happy with it. So you have to solve it. So if it's a thing where a lot of couples now go for a lot of couple therapy where they talk about, when you do this, I don't like it. So that's when you now have to talk about it.
Elom,
yeah.
sex, if a couple decide not to have sex before marriage, does it lead to cheating?
It depends on the type of relationship you have with
On
your
both
partner.
sides, from
Yes,
both sides.
Yes, from both sides. Yes, and I'm not trying to say that solely I must get the cookie before marriage. Sometimes, depending on the bonding or the relationship, I've dated some ladies before. We've not had anything intimate.
Yeah.
and it's very fine. Nobody, even after breakup, we don't feel bad about each other. We're just not the right pair, and we understood it like that. So in cases too like that, they exist. So it doesn't mean, oh, because you want to know somebody intimately, you must do it. Sometimes there's like Cecilia was saying, it's like an extra reward for you after marriage. When you do it, like, oh wow, so I didn't know this was the lady I have.
But you know, some men go like some women, you know, let me I'm trying hard not to go there, but let me use some of our Christian sisters for an example.
Yeah.
They go like, okay, my Bible tells me not to have sex before marriage. And then they tell the guy that, please, like, to prove that you love me, can we abstain from sex? And the guy who is not as religious as you, because he loves you or something, he tries to, okay, fine, I'm okay with it. But he goes elsewhere to cheat.
And also,
and
I
some
find
of the girls also pretend, but they also go out and cheat.
And
so,
also, to even get to that is even a second or a further point. You see, people tell you, oh, I don't want sex, I don't want this, but they are using dildos. Isn't it hypocritical?
Okay, so that brings us to the question. What is the difference though?
The difference is
because
the flesh
earlier
and the,
you said sex shouldn't only be about penetration.
Exactly.
Yes,
so
you said
if
that.
a lady also uses dildo, it means
yes.
what?
Yes, but that is also penetration, isn't it?
It is not penetration
But it's not
by natural means.
By artificial means, but it's still what? Penetration. So sometimes I find it quite hypocritical. People say, oh, I don't want this, but behind closed doors, they are doing things that are even worse than what they said they don't want to do.
Oh, is using a dildo even worse?
I'm not saying it's worse. I'm saying people do things that are worse.
Right.
Yes. So depending on how you want to define it as worse or better, in whatever context you want to put it, that's it.
On this note, let's take a quick breather. When we come back, we have so much more for you. This is Moans and Cuddles here on Ghana Web TV.
We table issues relating to the arts and entertainment for a riveting discussion, of course, without fear nor favor.
The question the presenter asked them was a dumb question. You need to speak the fact and move.
Varied views. We agree to disagree.
So I would disagree with everything you said. I think that he's a smart guy. I think what he did.
No, but I also said he's a smart guy.
Yeah.
I guess that I'm waiting for the what next.
Yeah, I don't think that we have to wait for what next.
It sometimes gets confrontational, but that's the beauty of the game.
Today you're funny face. It's not my brother. Funny face. I don't know him. You don't know funny face. It's not my brother. You don't know funny face.
It's a package. We meet, we sit, we dialogue, we learn, we progress. My name is Benefo Huabin Abrantepa, a proud blogger, and this is my forum.
Welcome back from the break. We are still here chit-chatting and talking about issues related to premarital sex. But before we delve in further, we went out to sample the views of some Ghanaians about their thoughts on sex before marriage. And here's what they have to say.
Marriage or sex after marriage?
Sex before marriage.
Why?
Because then I'd like to know my partner's prowess, like do's and don'ts. You need to know my body so that when we get there on the marriage day, it's not now, oh, do you like this? Do you like that? Oh, what's then, the synergy has to be right so that we enjoy ourselves.
Sex after marriage is okay. Biblically, yeah. You have to marry before you have sex.
I don't know. Sex before marriage. Yeah, sex before marriage.
Why?
Because then... no, I'm shy.
Before marriage or sex after marriage?
After.
Is it sex before marriage or sex after marriage?
Sex before marriage.
Reason?
Practice makes one perfect. If you go and meet a virgin and you're both virgins, it doesn't speak well. So we share one pema, but what me actually uncle say, see net here. Nah, be my wife. Come on.
For me, I did it. Yeah, but I mean, scripturally speaking, I think it shouldn't be so. Yeah, so that's it. I mean, youth of today, they try to taste before they eat. So, what?
Sex before marriage, yeah. At least you have to try and be sure it's working, like it's how you want it. You don't get into the marriage and you realize, Charlie, the thing is like, and now before you are trying to look elsewhere. So, before, to me.
Sex after marriage.
Why?
Because that's what my religion taught me, and that's how we've been taught from childhood. And then I think that it saves you a lot of hurt. Yeah, because from friends, I think a lot of people leverage sex to be like, when somebody has sex with you, then that means that like everything, like you are now nobody and stuff like that. Because especially in a relationship, like a man and a woman, a lot of heartbroken people, when you talk to them, it's really not about maybe what has happened, but it's about like how long they've been with this person. The person knows their nakedness, they've had sex with this person, and now the person is moving on with another person because maybe they feel like the person is now old for them, like you're not more juicy as they may think, so they move to another person. So I think sometimes when you try to save it, keep it after marriage, definitely it's one person. So whatever happens, you have your own, like there's this respect that you have for yourself, and then you feel proud of yourself.
So would you prefer sex before marriage or sex after marriage?
Sex after marriage.
Reason?
Because I'm a Christian and I don't believe in fornication. It's a risk you're taking. So even though the outcome may or may not be favorable, once you vow to take the person for better or for worse, you deal with it. Yeah.
After marriage, well, I have a pact with God. It's a personal belief. I'm Christian and I love God, so it's something that I hold on to.
Sex after marriage. I think that the fact that even people will discuss sex before marriage means that it's wrong, because the whole thing about sex has always been institutionalized for married people or for couples who have institutionalized their marriage or their relationship. So the idea that we want to have a conversation about it is just to make us feel good about something that is not right.
I do prefer sex after marriage, but I really do not have any problem with people who have sex before marriage. I think it's just a personal decision.
Sex after marriage. I believe what the scripture says, that we should keep ourselves holy. And then when we enter into marriage, you can have sex with your wife or your husband. I believe sex is a special thing, something special that God designed for couples, married people. You realize even in marriage, the couples begin to share similar traits in the way they think, the way they talk, in the way they do things, and sometimes they even come to resemble each other. Because sex is spiritual, they share in each other's traits or some of the things that happens to them, the spirit bonding. When you have sex before marriage, and you'll be having sex with different people, and then you'll be bonding souls together, and you also share in whatever happens to them, whether their sorrows, their joyful moments, or their pain. You begin to for all this world is not only physical, it's also spiritual.
Now I didn't want to start reading Chaka. Sex before marriage. It's always sex before marriage. You have to share someone. You have to, know or test to see whether you people are sexually compatible. What I say, very very important. Because we will have a bang bang, we stop in slow.
Those views are certainly interesting, aren't they, Cecilia?
They sure were. Yes, so it gives you a mindset of what's going on.
Okay, so let's delve further into this topic. Before we went on the break, we were talking about how this whole issue about sex before marriage can affect the already existing love to some extent among the couples. What else, aside from all that we have spoken about, what else is there that you think that it could be health-wise, it could be any of that? What else is it that shouldn't make couples indulge in premarital sex?
What else? I think in a couple, you have to, what else? There's financial. Let's talk about your finances, boo. Let's talk about your health. Let's talk about your mental state. Let's talk about your childhood traumas. That's not going to come into our relationship at some point because I'm going to do something and it's going to trigger some type of childhood trauma that you have. Let's talk about actually getting to know one another, because what you find is sometimes you'll be in a relationship and because of the sexual contact you have with this person that always kind of like comes in, you do it and it's gone. You don't actually connect with this person. You realize that you don't even like him. You don't have the same political views. You don't have the same likes for people. I've been with a person who eventually he's like, I don't actually like any of your friends. And I was like, what? This is new. When did this happen? And all of those kind of things. So
what were his reasons though?
I don't even know. I don't know whether it was just, I think they're too rich, they're too pompous, they're too something. It was always some type, because obviously if you're coming from different backgrounds, how are you, there's certain things of, if somebody comes from, I'm not going to, maybe if somebody comes from Kumasi and it's a mixed relationship and the other person is a Ga or something, now it's almost like, oh, I don't like that your friend because of the way she talks, because Gans are, and, all of those kind of things play a very big role in this whole circle of relationships. So once you don't find all of that out, because when you're together, you have sex, you don't talk about anything else. Because after the sex, you finish, you rest for 2 minutes, then you go back second round, third round, fourth round, then you sleep. What have you talked about? Nothing, So you don't know each other.
Cecilia has stated her stance to defend her point.
I very much agree with her largely. And I would also add to it that in academia too as well, you need to watch these things. Yes, people will say, oh, it doesn't matter, but please, it matters. Yeah. It matters. If the two of you, sebi, you are coming from a background that is very, very, very unstable, and decide to marry again, and decide to have kids again, what type of family are you creating for yourself, for the community, for the country? Are you coming to add up to a lot more problems that the family has? Are you adding up to more problems that the society has? Are you adding more problems to what the country already has? And also work routines. Yes, it also matters a lot. So these are things, regardless of whatever, we should consider them before dating people or getting married to people. For me, before I take you as my girlfriend, I must know your blood group. There are certain details. It doesn't matter how much I am into you. If I don't know those things, forget it. I'll turn you down. Respectfully. Yes, I have to know.
I don't know if, because I once said this before with a group of guys and they were like, no. And I was like, what I used to do in the past, if I'm even dating and we are considering even having sex or whatever, we both would go to the doctors together and we would get a sexual test done. And everybody like, no, what be that? And I was like, but why not? And somebody said to me, I just for look at the girl, see she clean.
No,
so
no,
I'll just
no,
look
no,
at her like that broken. And I was like, so you think that
No.
you can determine somebody's cleanness
Yeah.
from looking at their face? And so all of these these are all conversations that need to be had, that when you even have conversations with couples these days, they tell you that, oh no, we didn't do that, it was just, and those days are gone. Seriously, with everything that is happening and all the sexual diseases that you can get just by even breathing in the same direction as somebody.
I know. Elon, with your stance on assenting to the whole idea of premarital sex, let's look at it from this way. What will make someone who used to have sex in his or her previous relationship back down on a current relationship, as in not wanting to have sex in his or her new relationship? What could make that happen?
There are different things that happen to people and they decide to change their mindset. So I can't specifically point out this or that, but depending on what people's individual experiences are, they will decide that, all right, even though I've had this in my past relationship, I would want to maintain a clean sheet with you, so we understand mutually and know what exactly we are doing. Then I think that way it has to be both of you, something that the two of you agree on or disagree on. Then that comes to answer your question. Yeah.
Cecilia, what
As
about
I was
you?
saying, wanting something different, wanting, as I think I made a reference to it before, because what happens is, maybe especially women, sometimes it has to be tall, dark, chocolate, handsome. You have
Artificial boyfriends.
exactly. You have your mindset of what you are looking for, and meanwhile, your partner could be some cute, short, skinny ass.
Like me.
Exactly.
Yeah. Like
He's
me, I
sitting
go jump.
right
I
here.
go jump inside the picture where you go weak for me.
Yes,
You don't know what to do.
so it really is wanting something different, because you always see the guy and you always want to go for it, and the lust in the beginning of a relationship is just a fog of intenseness, and real people, I don't know, a lot of people can't get away from that fog, and by the time you realize that, or the fog clears, you are with a guy or in a marriage with somebody that you don't know at all.
And you know one funny thing about me, sometimes I'll be dating you and I'll just ghost on you for some days.
Why?
See this one.
Not because I want to maltreat you, but I need to find out a couple of things. When you are silent for a moment, a lot of things get revealed to you. Yes. So sometimes I
but this
intentionally
test, I don't
ghost.
like this test.
Yes.
It's
But
a test.
Yes. So I do it sometimes to also see how I can cope with certain behaviors on my significant other.
Are you an introvert?
Me, I be everything some. Cool.
So in some instances, some couples, for some reason, will decide to come back, to revamp their relationship. But in this case, they do not want to lose their partner, so they will agree on having sex in the relationship. What should be the frequency? How often should they have sex?
This is the problem.
Is this question coming to me as well?
Yes,
will
it's
come to
coming
you.
to you.
Okay.
You answer first. That's your
No
answer.
problem.
Yeah.
See, for me, it's very, very easy. When I know that's the way you want to tie me down, and you're in the mood, Charlie, hey.
You go give them, eh?
Oh, I no go give you, sure. I go come out to the house, you no go see me. My phone self go day off. And I'll pile it later on when I give it to you. That's
After the problem has been solved or what?
Yeah, that's the power packed one. Then you shut up.
You sure say they run?
Is that? No, I'm not running, because I know that's a thing that you always do on a regular. So I also want to variate it. So I'll swerve you for a day or two or for a few.
He says he's going to swerve. Cecilia, what about
Not
you?
always though.
That's what I'm saying. It doesn't always happen, especially if you're in each other's face. And it doesn't, you see, but
it becomes too normal a thing.
Yes. See, once you allow it, it becomes the normal way of fixing a problem. and this is also a problem. So the problem never gets solved. So I think abstaining from it, teaching the partner that this is not how you are going to fix it, even though some guys are very overpowering and will take it probably anyway.
That is rape.
Well, I've heard this story a few times, and a guy would say, Charlie, that be my girl. If I want it, I want it.
No.
Oh.
It's still rape.
But for couples who cannot abstain, how often, what should be the frequency of having sex?
Oh, what
Please, we can't decide for them now.
That one is very individual, and I think it's up to how busy the person is, what is going on in the house,
But ideally,
I don't think there's an ideal. I wouldn't want to say an ideal number.
Hello, why are you looking at me like
this? And 4 times would be not enough for somebody, or 4 times.
Do you have something to say, Elo?
Charlie, this show I go try. Sometimes with me, I want to use myself as an example. Sometimes you want to have sex continuously for a number of days, and it's very fine.
Yeah.
And for some times too, you feel like, okay, let me just go off for a while. So it depends.
Yeah.
If the person mutually understands you that, okay, for this whole Monday, every day there we go bang. If your mind day, my mind day, let's do it. And if it gets to a point where we feel like, oh, we are too accustomed to each other, let's break for a few. It's good. Sometimes it's good to break off and feel brand new again when you get back together. And the intimacy is even more stronger than before.
Yeah. Or not. Sister girl. I think, okay, in this sense, because women will always consider, oh, if I don't do it, he'll go somewhere else. No, that whole pressures. In that case, you give him the taster. Let him, because I can say, no, don't do it. Stay away from it. But that would be unrealistic. And I don't want to be unrealistic to somebody who is probably there wanting real advice. And if it's going to be that problem and you think that this is the guy or this is the one that you want to be with, to death do you part. Give him that taster. But a conversation needs to be had as well, I think.
Before or after?
Before, because then you ask that question, if I give it to you or if we do it, how often do you want it? So then at least you know that, okay, it's something that because you're not comfortable with it. So if you're now going to do it, you need to know how many times he's gonna want it or how often, or you know what I mean.
What about if you guys decide to be spontaneous out of the blue?
No, fine. Spontaneity is great. How many times do you want to be spontaneous? That's what I'm saying.
Yes. You know Jackie, right? You know her biggest song, right?
No, I don't know.
Okay. There's a phrase in that song that says, my mind day for you. Yes. So if along the line she feels like, all right, I want to give in. First of all, like I always say, and I'll repeat again, no woman is stupid. Again, no woman is stupid, no woman is foolish. It's because she likes you, she respects you, and she submits to you. That's why she's giving in. So you need to equally give her that respect and submissiveness as well, regardless of whatever. And if you see that she's quite vulnerable, you need to guide your woman. You don't need to take advantage of her and always come bang, 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 because that will be an abuse. So you should always have it at the top of your mind that, okay, we decided not to make out or get intimate until we marry, but along the line we decided to put that aside and do something else. But still, the golden rule states that we need to cross this river before we fully get into that aspect. And I think if the two of you, or if couples understand themselves on that level, it makes a lot of sense.
Okay, on this note, let's pause and go for a quick breather. When we come back, we have more to talk about. This is Moans and Cuddles on Ghana Web TV.
From the dawn of time, people have engaged in several businesses. With the onset of technology and innovation, life has relatively been made easier. By using debit or credit cards,
Mobile banking.
Thank you. And your favorite, mobile money?
tech has indeed married business. On BizTech, we spend time with faces behind known and upcoming businesses in the country.
Learn more about the new technologies and innovation,
as well as find out about the trending issues in the world of business.
Join us as we serve you with a variety of compelling interviews, projects, and others right here on Ghana Web TV.
And welcome back from that quick breather. If you just tuned in, you are watching Moans and Cuddles on Ghana Web TV, and we are still discussing the topic premarital sex, sex before marriage. Is it good or is it bad? Moans and Cuddles is proudly brought to you by Cheesy Pizza. Cheesy Pizza has all you want from juices, smoothies, jollof, fried rice, spaghetti, and meatballs. We have great deals for you all week round. Cheesy Pizza gives you the McCheesy combo every Monday and Thursday. With only 49 Ghana cedis, you get one small pizza, fries, and chicken, one Coca-Cola at all branches. Tuesdays are Super Tuesdays at all Cheesy Pizza branches. Buy your Super Family Pizza at half price every Tuesday for 40 cedis at all Cheesy Pizza branches. Be a part of the mid-week bonanza every Wednesday. Buy and get one free at all Cheesy Pizza branches. Also remember to start your weekend with special jollof and fried rice from every Cheesy Pizza branch. Call 0264 133 397 0264 133 397 to place your order. Cheesy Pizza, your way. Cecilia, at what point would you let your guard down? You are saying right now that for now you're on hold, you are in the middle. Yeah. But at what point would you let your guard down and say, this one, dear, mama mensa so?
Do you know what? I think it's all about the connection. It has to be, it has to be at the emotional connection. I keep on banging about the emotional connection. It's very natural to meet a guy. The first time you meet him, everything is hot. You fancy him, he fancies you. All the lust is in the air. So it kind of blocks out a lot of things about the guy that you would have seen had you stepped back and said, you know what, this is lust. Let me just calm down and see what this guy is really about. And I think it gets to a point where it's about a maturity a little bit where you're like, you know what, without the lust, without the sex, what do we have? How do we exist without this? Because when you go into certain marriages, what happens is sex is often used for arguments. You have a disagreement about something, instead of solving it, we have sex. It's over. Meanwhile, you know how women we are. We carry it. We'll carry that thing.
Another argument will remind you.
Yes. So now the second argument, I have the arguments from before that you didn't resolve. That all you did is resolve it with sex, which was fine for the moment, but still it's in me.
Yes.
So now I have my second arguments to throw at you. So now you have two arguments to battle in this one argument that we're having. So again, you conquer it with sex. Okay.
It piles up.
And you know how men are. As soon as you now want, after the sex, if you bring the conversation back up again, oh, why? So this becomes the problem in the marriage or in the relationship. So that's why I feel like right now, getting to know the person fully without that sexual contact is very important, because he himself, you'll find that, and I'm talking about deep relationships. I'm not talking about these. Yes. You know what I mean? If you meet somebody really and you're like, yo, this guy, this girl, and that deep connection, I feel like right now, I would say that without the sex, what do you have?
Without the sex, what do we have?
At what point would you let your guard down?
Before I even come to that, like Cecilia said that The last statement you made.
Without the sex, what do you really
yeah,
have?
what do you really have? I think it's one very, very key thing that most of us, we don't really put into consideration when we are in a relationship. Yes, people just feel like, oh, it's about the intimacy, even if it's not sex, like the connection and all of that. But beyond that, how solid is the relationship? How beneficial is the relationship to both of you beyond sex and the intimacy? It's one thing that we have to look at.
How are you helping each other grow?
Yes. Because if you are not helping me upgrade myself, what are we living for? Then again, there are women who would always come around with sex when there's an argument. How about that one too? Because they know, yes, after when we are quarreling, I'll just come out of the shower without clothes.
So you have to
so
close your eyes.
So in that case,
and
when
there's
you
another
know that,
twist to that. If you don't do it, that means you are cheating. The man is
no,
cheating.
if you know, no.
I was in a relationship where I decided not to have sex for some months. Charlie, the fight way I
what
get.
was the communication? You see,
Yes, the
then it
communication
comes
was
with,
that
babe,
I needed
I'm
to.
doing this because
You would.
How about
Cecilia,
okay?
you give
So
every explanation.
so if you know
at that
that
time I was working on a creative, not to cut you. I was working on a creative, and I needed a certain mindset to write that type of literature. But along the line, oh, because you're in the showbiz space and there are girls all over you and all of that, you are cheating and all of that. I'm like, yo, I'm like an open book.
You see, but what I could have said, your communication could have been in that safe space is explanation. Women, we like you to explain it to death.
I've exhausted
and
every
then
form
we
of
like you
explanation.
to reassure. Every day, if
To
you
the
have
point-
to reassure. And also, even if you're not having sex, there needs to be some contact. You cannot just say you're not having sex. If you hold my hand, is it sex?
No.
If you come and rub my shoulder or link our legs when we are sitting together on the sofa,
Cecilia, when
is
you,
it sex?
even when you
that
women,
contact still
even
needs
when
to be
you
there.
women are in your time of the month and the mood swings come in, Charlie, if you make mistake, touch and save trouble for you.
But Elom, you made
And now-
mention about the fact that if how do you call it? If a woman tries to use sex to solve this quarrels and petty fights and all of that, if you know you're not really in the best of terms with your partner, why don't you meet outside in public, in a restaurant, pub, wherever, and talk about your issues
Charlie,
rather
you go
than
do all
meeting
of
in
that,
the
you
house?
come back, still you go on.
But okay, but you can still sort it out outside
That's
and
what I'm
come
saying.
back home and do
then you
whatever.
make up.
That's what I'm saying, that even after that or later on, they will hold on to it. They will hold you on to it and say, okay, because I gave it to you, or I did this, that's why you are still messing up. That's why you are doing this, because you think you have all of me.
All right.
You get my point. And letting the guard down to that. Sorry, we took a long route. Letting my guard down, I think it depends on the connection. I don't even, we get, the two of us get to that point, I don't need to even tell you. It comes naturally. That's two people who are truly, truly, truly intimate about themselves. When you get to that point, you don't need to say it. It comes out naturally, and nobody feels anything ulterior when it happens, or if it should happen. So I wouldn't say, okay, in the afternoon we for do 6 a.m. or every Saturday we have to wait till the first Sunday of this month and do it. No, letting my guard down, it has to come naturally, and I believe in organic vibe.
Cecilia, what are some of the myths associated with having sex before marriage?
What are the myths? Gosh, what are the myths?
One is, okay, I can speak, I don't know whether to speak for myself or speak for girls.
Please
but
speak.
I feel some girls, or most girls, believe that they do not want to give up the cookie because the man would run away after the cookie.
Which mostly happens.
So
sometimes.
So give us more of such instances, or
I think
some
that
of the
is
things.
our number one fear, and that is what takes the whole the lead in the race, is the fact that, and I think it's because it's happened. A lot of guys do that, and it's our number one fear that, Charlie, if I give it to him, he's not gonna be around anymore. What are the other
And from the
myths?
man's angle too?
The man's, you see, men are very complicated. They say that we are complicated species, but I think it's them that are more complicated than we are, because we say our mind. I don't think there's any woman that keeps anything secret from anybody.
A lot of them keep a lot of secrets. A lot.
These women, I haven't met them before. Me, I'm talking for the women that talk plenty.
No, some
if
do.
there's a problem, we'll
Trust
say it.
me. I think if there's a creature, you know, a human being, an aspect, male or female, between the male and then the female, I'm trying to say, if there's anybody who is very open-minded, it should be the man. They tell you as it is without holding back. Meboa.
Yeah, we say it, but we are
As
the ones
compared
that
to
are
women.
always misunderstood, or or
They do not make
you women.
words right.
No, we say it, but you women find it very difficult to understand or accept it as the truth.
Right.
So
okay.
You tell us the lie.
You are very skeptic all the time. Then you're like, okay, if you are not going to accept this, then let me say it the other way. Maybe that will make you comfortable.
Okay, back
so
to
many
you.
of many times it's the women who actually lead some guys on to say the otherwise. Yes.
Cecilia, back to what you were saying.
So apart from that number one headliner, what are not being respected by the guy? I think is another concern, which pretty much falls into the first one. Everybody thinking that you're a slut.
What about the guys? Do they have any?
I don't talk for them.
We don't get anything. We just do. We just did it. We don't.
You guys don't have any myths associated
The thing is,
with...
we don't put that on our mind as a myth or whatever.
It is subconscious, Elam. You have to admit. I think you guys, it's subconscious.
No, it's not something that if all guys or many guys would admit. It's not something that we put at the back of our mind that there's a myth, with having sex before marriage or after marriage. Charlie, we just there.
But you know what? I have to remind everybody about it. If you're gonna do it, do remember that babies do come.
But I was gonna say, I was gonna say that, but in another way, I thought that wouldn't be a myth.
But are you saying having babies is somehow a wrong thing? Because
no, she didn't say it's a wrong thing, but
it's not.
You said babies are gonna come.
Yes, because
what
it's something
if they
that
are
maybe
ready for the baby?
No,
what
but
if they are not ready?
But if you're not in a permanent relationship with this person, you're not ready.
Yes.
You know, that means you're having this baby out of wedlock. And though it is, okay now, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, is the responsibility that comes with it and the society and how they judge you. That is what I'm saying in terms of how it applies to a myth. But in terms of even just giving general advice in terms of going forward with having sex before marriage, also realize that you could get pregnant if you don't protect yourself. So protection should be number one key, because this is also a man that you are not fully with, in sense of you might have said, oh, we are together, we are exclusive. But if this man chooses to go elsewhere, as I've seen some pastors, say that, if you are not married to the person, you are free to do whatever you need to do. So if this,
they do say that?
I've heard
I see.
that loud pastor.
Which pastor? Mention his name.
Oh, I can't remember. He's bald-headed, but anyway.
He's
Don't say or whatever. But I've seen it on social media before.
Yes.
And it's kind of like, so if this man now goes elsewhere and he's bringing back to you and all of this kind of fluids mixing about and all this kind of stuff.
And the women could equally do same.
Which, yes, I'm not saying, I'm talking for my women. You talk for your men, yeah? But yeah, just be aware that, listen, this is a thing where you could have a baby outside, and the man could pretty much decide also at that point that he doesn't want to go through with the marriage.
Cecilia, aside from the myths, let's look at the health. The health aspects too. What are some, let's look at the woman.
Yeah.
What are some of the diseases or certain things that can come out of having lots of premarital sex? Aside from the regular STDs and
with this, with the same person or with a different person all the time, or like
it
chopping
could be
and
same,
changing
it could
partners.
be different. They are all premarital sex,
Well, I mean, that's why I'm saying that we need to protect yourself, because regardless whether you're married to this, if it's the same guy and you're exclusive and whatever, and you're choosing that, listen, if I get pregnant or whatever, you are still going to take care of me and we're still going to go through this marriage, then kudos
what about
to you. Go
the
ahead.
same guy goes out to cheat and comes back and gives you whatever?
What about the same lady goes out to do something and comes
We'll come
back?
to you, Elon. Relax.
That's why they're saying there's an understanding. There should be an understanding that we are exclusive to each other. When that word exclusive comes through, that means you're not going nowhere. It's me and you. We are in this house.
You not follow the person wherever he goes.
Right, but it is intended. So that means if you're going to do something, it's either when you go there, you use a condom, you use something to protect yourself so that you're not bringing anything back to me. Because that thing is very, I think guys are very oblivious about it, and they think that is not, they can't bring anything back because they wash their thing. I've heard this from a guy before. Charlie, my thing be clean, I wash it. No, that's not how you transfer anything. It's not because you are bringing the juice straight from here to me that I get it. It's internal.
But aside the STDs, let's talk about the damages that ladies who even take in this after morning pills
get.
Sometimes you are okay, you are free, you are having, but once you start to have unprotected sex, you are compelled to take in these pills. As and when some people take it like weekly. As soon as they have sex, they have to take in morning pills. What about that?
Girl, listen, you have to pretty much choose your health or this man's sex. Because I've experienced a lot of girls come up and say, hey, I have to go and get the pill, you take it, and it's very damaging. Understand that these things, you could, the long term is that it could even stun your pregnancy, getting pregnant in the future, fertility. So you stand the risk of doing that. And this same guy that you are now with, that you are now taking all these pills, eventually you now want to have a kid. Now you can't have his kid because you've been taking all of these pills. It's a roller coaster of all kinds. That's what I'm saying, that it needs to be, you need to think about it so much and think about, what do I want from this relationship? If this is the one, if he is the one, outside of sex, who are we? What do we like? What don't we like? And that's how and you can go forward from there. And all of these, and then you talk about it as well.
Elon, you are for premarital sex, but advise the people who side with your assertion. What should they not be doing health-wise?
Like Cecilia said, it should be exclusive. If it's exclusive and you decide that, okay, the two of you want to engage in it, you have to honestly understand each other that, okay, you are exclusive to each other. That way, the rate of whatever infection or health concerns that will come is lessened, because you are exclusive to each other. But if that doesn't play and each other is doing something extra outside the box, then that opens the Pandora's box for more health problems. Yes.
I know there's this one last question I want to ask. I don't want to go there, but I'll just throw it in anyway. Is sex before marriage a sin?
Oh, sure. Yeah. I don't necessarily think I would call it a sin. You see, and I don't also want to necessarily put myself out there that I'm not godly or whatever. I wouldn't call it a sin, no. I wouldn't call it a sin.
You won't call it a sin? No. Hello, is this a sin?
For many who are already born are already in sin. And then the question I always ask
what does that mean?
Everybody born on earth, the Bible says, or the Holy Book says, we are all born in sin.
What part of the Bible is that?
Oh, I know.
We want to go and look for it.
Oh, we go find them. Yeah.
The gospel according to Elo.
But what I'm trying to say is, I always reference people back to like in the days of Adam and Eve, who did the ordinance for them? Before they got married in the first place, before they had sex and had their babies.
No.
So it depends on the mindset. I'm not trying to say that don't respect that institution of protecting each other before marriage, but it depends on your viewpoint, where your mindset or your religious or spiritual beliefs. I can't falter you. I can only be answerable to myself. Even if I'm not a Christian or I'm not a Muslim, there's a spiritual connection that comes with everybody. Everybody has a soul. So once you make out with people, there's some form of connection spiritually. So you need to know thyself and know where somebody is coming from, or try to know where somebody is coming from.
We have had a fruitful and a thorough discussion on the topic sex before marriage, otherwise premarital sex. We have shared varied thoughts. My guests have shared their opinions on the issue, but my take from this whole thing is that I will not decide for you where you should stand. The ball is in your court. You can either go with the premarital sex or go with the sex after marriage, whichever. The ball is in your court. Cecilia, it has been an interesting show, has it?
Yes, it has.
Oh, thank you so much for coming. You have been so phenomenal. Elom,
yeah,
it was good to see you again. Good to have you on the show.
You put me on the spot, and I threw a lot of arsenals I wasn't ready to give the internet. It's all good.
Oh, you didn't. That was good. All too soon, we have come to the end of this edition of Moans and Cuddles. I hope you had a good time watching at home. We hope to join you, come your way another time. My name is Elsie Lamar. Till then, stay safe and be good. We out.